Hello, friends. I am Heidi with Onigo Stamping. Welcome to my craft corner. I am so excited that you are joining me this evening for tonight's July card class using the fabulous Happiness Abounds stamp set. I am really excited. I have some great cards to share with you this evening. If you are joining me live, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know that you are here live and watching. Let me know where you're from. Always nice to know, where people are joining me from. So if this is your first time watching, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited that you are joining us. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you always know when I'm going to be live, which is usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, but occasionally I do pop up unannounced. So to make sure you don't miss anything, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And I am so glad that you are here. Hello, Vicki. Welcome. So glad you are here this evening. And Cindy, welcome to you too. All right. We're going to give everybody just a couple minutes to get here. If you registered for the card class, you should have received your card kit in the mail already. I checked this morning and I think that they were all received. And one of you even had a little door prize. So if you found a little extra surprise in your packet, go ahead and let me know. Yeah, so Kimberly, hello from hot and humid Virginia. I hear you. It is hot and humid here in Michigan as well. And I'm hoping my phone holds up tonight, that it doesn't crash. It does not like the heat. And we've had our air conditioner off all afternoon because, of course, it's an energy savings day. So it's been warm. Hello, Lisa. And I'm going to guess, it's coming through as Facebook user, but I'm going to guess that maybe is Teresa. I'm not sure, though. So anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and flip around my camera so that we can get started with tonight's class. Now, I have opened up registration for the August card class as well. And for that class, we're going to be using the Simply Fabulous stamp set. So that registration is open over on my website. All right, here is the Happiness Abounds stamp set. Hopefully you all have it. I love it. I've been having so much fun with this stamp set. I've already went ahead and I mounted all my stamps on some clear blocks so that we can start with our first card. So if you have a card kit, you can go ahead and pull out envelope number 1, which has all the supplies. Oops. Did I do this wrong? Oh, no, I didn't. I just thought it wrong in my head. All right, so open up envelope number 1, which has all the supplies for the first card. And here you should have a little piece of linen thread, some soft suede cardstock, some of the Abigail Rose Designer Series paper. So there is a Designer Series paper that goes in the whole suite with the Happiness Abounds stamp set. And we're going to use that on the other cards, but I thought that we would start instead with this Abigail Rose paper, which has that same flower design in it. So it matches too, and is going to give us a completely different look on it. So then we have some white and a few pieces of crumb cake, and then your card base, which is soft suede. So I'm going to try to make sure I stay in the camera this evening. All right, so what we want to do is we're going to start with, okay, did I forget a piece? Y'all, do you have a piece of white that fits on this piece of crumb cake? I may have forgotten a piece in your cards. I hope that is not the case. But I don't have one in mine. Oh no. Zut alors. All right. Well, I'm missing one. So we are going to need a piece of white that is 3 1/4 by 3 7/8. You had to cut the small white. What was I doing? 3 1/4 by 3 7/8. Well, hopefully everybody has a little bit of white cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and cut myself a piece here. See if I have one that's close. No. So 3 1/4 by 3 7/8. Yeah, that's what it says. All right. That's not right. It is not 3 1/4 by 3 7/8. 3 1/4 by 2. That's what we want. This piece should be 3 1/4 by 2. Go ahead and cut that down. And then this one is going to be 3 1/4 right here. Well, I am sorry about that. So did anybody find some extra surprises in their card kits? Does anybody want to self-declare our door prize winner? Sorry. Y'all, I'm having issues. My chair just was rolling over some cords on my floor, which is never a good plan. All right, so I have this small piece of white. It is 3 1/4 by 2 inches. You will have to cut your own if it is not in your card kit, sadly. And then we're going to pull out some soft suede ink. Nope, the glossy dots came with your card pack. So everybody should have a half package of glossy dots. We're going to use those this evening. But somebody else got something extra, something that clearly does not go with this. All right, so I'm going to stamp a couple of flowers on here using the soft suede. I'm going to stamp one right there. And let's do the other one like right here. And then I'm going to grab these flowers or these leaves. So this leaf that has the 2 leaves. Yes, Jerry Ann was the winner of our door prize for this evening. And she got a roll of glittered organdy ribbon. So as a little bonus surprise. So I'm just going to add some leaves on here. Add them in here. And how about one more up there? All right. So there is our stamping. I also want to grab, you should have a piece of basic white that's about 3/4 inches wide and just long enough. We're going to go ahead and stamp the thank you sentiment on here. So it says, sending many thanks for all that you do. And we're just going to pop that on there. If it's not straight, it's okay, because we're going to cut it out. And then you can put away. Oh, you're very welcome, Jerry Ann. Oh, I'm glad it's your favorite ribbon. That's exciting. All right. So now what do I want to do? I'm going to grab some So Saffron Stampin' Blends. We're going to color this flower. I'm going to actually start with the dark, I think, and I'm going to color the dark on the edges. So I like to put it, towards the center. And then anywhere where I think that there might be a little bit of a shadow. So in front of the parts that are folded down. I might have to switch to my other end. That end is getting a little worn out. I've been using this marker a lot lately. I don't know why. I've just been really into So Saffron. So, all right, just coloring, all those parts where I think there might be shadow. If you aren't sure, it doesn't really matter. Just go towards the outsides with the darks. And towards the center. And of course, you could do it the opposite way too. Some people like to put, the dark on that folded over part on the edge and have a washed out look for the rest of it. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. And this, of course, just takes a few minutes to add in all this color. There we go. Almost done with the dark on this flower. So how have your weeks been going? You guys been doing anything fun? All right, make sure I'm in your camera here. By the way, I forgot to ask, is the sound okay this evening? Is everybody hearing me okay? So now I'm just coloring over this whole thing with the light So Saffron. And I like to, as much as possible, you want to get the tip towards like the edge, Because really what you want to do with the tip is to help you get right up to the edge of things without going over when it's working properly. All right, so I just colored in that yellow flower. The sound is good. Oh, good. And I'm hoping maybe that the videos start working a little bit better. We have gotten a new modem and a new router, I think, since the last time I was live. So I'm hoping that stuff is just going to work better. So we realized like our router we've had for, we think maybe 10 years. So maybe it was time to replace it. So, and then our internet provider like sent us a letter saying, oh, hey, you can get a new modem. So we did that too. That was only 5 years old though. I'm sure the router was over 10. We'd had it for a long time. All right, so now I'm just coloring this other one. Tonight's cards are probably going to take a while, just because there's a lot of coloring. That's what happens when there's coloring. It just takes longer, right? Jerry Ann, you're going to head to the beach in a week and a half. That sounds like fun. We're supposed to be heading to Chicago this weekend and then camping with my sister and my mom next week. Just for like 3 days though, but I'm not even ready to go. So all right. Adding in all this dark again on the second flower. And we'll come back in with the light and just color over that. And I'm going to turn this so my tip is going into the edges. It's just going to help you keep from going over the lines a little bit. And sometimes with the blends, they will bleed out a little bit. So you might not even want to go all the way right up to the line sometimes when you're coloring. With this, I'm not too worried, but that is kind of a hint, is sometimes, don't go all the way to the line, especially I find when you are coloring on colored cardstock instead of white, it will just, want to bleed. So, all right, so there are my yellow flowers. And now I'm going to grab my mint macaron Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to color the insides or the bottoms of my leaves, the dark. And I should probably do the leaves one at a time, but we're gonna live on the wild side and do them all at once. Usually they say that the blends will blend better if you don't let it go too long before you switch colors. So all right, so now I'm just going in with the light mint macaron and adding some light in there. And I missed one leaf over here. I'm just going to start with the light since I have that in my hand. And I can come in towards the bottom, just add a little bit of dark. And actually, this is why sometimes I start with the light instead of starting with the dark, is I just find it easier. I always find like I have to go back over with the light anyway, but it's really up to you. Certain projects I find, I don't know, they work better if I start with the light blend and then go to the dark blend. And other projects work better if I start with the dark blend and go to the light. All right, I'm just going to do the centers with some light crumb cake, just so they're not white. And I got to replace my crumb cake blends because that one is getting very dead. I use the crumb cake so often. I don't know. What blends do you guys use the most? What color do you find that you use the most? All right, so I just took my sentiment that I stamped, and I'm going to take my paper snips, and I am just quickly cutting around this. Not, leaving a little bit of a border. If it is not perfectly even, it's not a big deal. Nobody is going to look at it that closely. So just cutting around this. And what's nice, some of it is straight, so you can just come up here and cut a straight line. We'll come down and do some more. Yeah, so I think crumb cake is definitely my most used blend. And I also seem to use Pool Party a lot. Maybe I just use Pool Party in general a lot, as well as the Granny Apple Green. So, all right. So there is my sentiment that I cut out. Get rid of my scraps. And now we can start putting things together. So let me see if my glue is going to work. I was doing some filming today and it was not, wasn't working very well. So I'm going to have to try to dig out a new one. All right, so I'm going to start with my piece of basic white. And I didn't cut something right, apparently. Didn't cut. I apparently was having a lot of troubles with this. And cut everything wrong, I guess. Woo-wee. All right, so this soft suede that I have here should be 3 3/8 by, let me see. Yep, 3 3/8 by 2 1/8. So I apparently cut it wrong. I apologize for all my cutting mistakes. Well, that is 3 3/8. Maybe I cut my white wrong. So it should be 3 1/4. It is. Oh, no, I didn't cut that 3 3/8. I cut it 3 5/8. So I apologize about all my miscutting this evening. So I'm going to start by adhering the white to the soft suede, if my glue is going to work. I might have to try to dig out a new glue because this is going to get annoying. Teresa, you love the Stampin' Blends? Oh, me too. I love the Stampin' Blends. And I have quite a few, but I don't have them all. I always say, look at the stamp sets that you use the most and then pick colors based on that and what colors you'd like. I find that usually what we're coloring is tends to be flowers. So I always recommend starting with, at least a green and then whatever color you like to color your flowers with. And then, of course, some crumb cake, just because it's good for everything. Maybe between cards, we'll dig out a new one. We'll see. I like to, here's a secret, because you guys probably can't see this on the screen. A lot of people have like holders and things that they have for their green glue to hold it upright. I don't. I like to hold mine between my legs, between my knees, because it also warms it up a little bit, which helps it flow a little bit better. So that is my secret. Let's see if the other one works. I got two almost gone ones here. That's a little better. Maybe, or maybe that one was just ready to go. All right. So I'm going to glue this darker piece of the Designer Series paper on the left side. And then hopefully this piece fits right over here. Oh, good. That was cut right. I'm going to glue the lighter piece on the other side. Or you could switch them up if you want to, because clearly it's the same designs. So This is just going to go over here on the right. Oh, I just love this paper. I love the Abigail Rose Designer Series paper. It is so pretty. I think in a couple weeks I'm going to do some cards just using that for my for one of my lives. All right, now I want to take that piece of linen thread and I'm going to tie this around here. And you should have plenty. I think I cut these super long this time. So now, if your linen thread is not behaving itself, you can use your cross clamp tweezers, if I can talk, to hold that center for you. Ooh, mine just went like crazy, like it all came apart. That was not fun. We'll try this again. All right. So there is my little linen thread bow. I'm just going to go ahead and leave the ends hanging for a minute, and we'll clean those up in just a few minutes. This now is going to get put onto my card base. I just want to make sure that that bow is like in the right spot. So I'm just going to use my green glue again, if it behaves itself. Come on, green glue. And this is just going to get adhered to the card base. So this card's almost done. Make sure I do this the right direction. Oh, good. Lately, I have been making all my cards upside down. I think it's the heat. I think the heat is getting to me. All right, so that just is going to get glued down right there. And now I need to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. And my sheet's almost gone, so I'm going to go ahead and just snip all my sides so I can use those edges. No waste. And I just snip them all at once, makes it easier. All right, and I want to put some dimensionals on the back of this piece. Get those in all the corners, and then I want to put one in the middle too. There we go. Now I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool and just pop those backs off. How's everybody doing on their cards? Hopefully you're doing well. And then this just goes right on here. It's not exactly centered. It's kind of towards the top just a little bit. Now I want to grab my mini dimensionals. I got some minis here. And I'm going to put these on my sentiment. And, oops, just pull the back off one. All right, there's my minis. Grab my last two backs here. Ooh, they just going everywhere tonight. All right. And then this, our sentiment is just going to go right over top of our flowers. So you can just decide where you want to put it in there. There we go. And then I'm going to just trim up the edges here. Make them even. Let's see. I kind of like them a little bit long, I think. There we go. And there is our first card. What do you guys think? How are you doing? Are you guys stamping along with me? Are you keeping up? I'm going to clean up my desk a little bit. Clean off my stamps. Oh, you know what? You should have a piece of basic white in here too. This can go on the inside of your card. I'm getting out new glue. See if I got some. Watch, I won't have any handy. All right. So this can just go on the inside. If you want to stamp something on there, you sure can. But definitely with this dark cardstock, you need to put something inside so you have plenty of nice white paper to write on. So there is our first card. You're having bow issues? Oh, I understand. Some days that happens. Some days bows just do not want to behave themselves. Luckily, I think this is the only card that we're making tonight that has a bow on it. So, all right, I'm just going to clean up my stamps a little bit. Wiping these up on my chamois. And go. All right, let me see if I can find a new glue. That's not the glue box. That's not the glue box. Oops. There's one. I do have more glue. Yay. Slide my adhesive bin back in. We will use a new glue. Aw, thank you, Kimberly. I'm so glad that you like it. All right. One new green glue. We are going to move on to card number 2. So let me know how you're doing. I want to kind of give everybody just a moment to breathe. I'm going to check my phone. Oh, it's getting very hot. I hope that it keeps up. We are going to work on card number 2, which is our fun fold card. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this card before we get started. So here's the card on the outside. And then when you open it up, it kind of has this like pop-up element in it. All right, and you can see that's what it looks like from the top. So I thought it might be helpful just to kind of see that before we start building it. Yeah, so of course there are lots of pieces in here. Go ahead and open this up. We got some designer series paper. I cut out some of the flowers from the designer series paper for you. You should have 2 flowers and 2 leaves. And 2 white circles. These are cut with the stitched shapes dies. Some white, some more designer series paper, 2 pieces of pool party paper. All right. And then your Night of Navy card base. So we're going to start with the 2 pieces of pool party paper. I'm going to go ahead and tell you maybe what size these are, if I can read my notes. All right, so this one right here is 5 1/8 this direction by 5 1/4 this direction, and I scored it at 1 and 2. All right, so we're going to go ahead and in your card kit it's already folded. We're going to fold it that way, and then this one just gets folded back. All right. And this is the right side, okay? This is your left side. Now this piece is 5 5/8 by 5 1/4, and it is scored at 3 1/8, going this way, 3 1/8, okay? And we're just gonna go ahead and fold that this direction too. Now I'm gonna grab my new green glue, which is nice and warm and wants to be runny. I am not even pushing the green glue because it is so full and runny down. So I just put some green glue on there. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put these 2 pieces. So this is this flap up here, and I got the flap here, right? This is just going to go right on top of each other. And you're just going to line it all up. Try to get it lined up as best you can. Okay. And then you can hold that for just a minute. Get it stuck down. Okay. And then when you open that, that creates that center piece. Okay. Is everybody with me? Hopefully, because this is literally the hardest part of the card. This one did take me a while to get the measurements right. So if you got the card kit, if you registered for the class, you do have the written instructions, the tutorials for this, so that you can go back and make another one if you want to. And you have all those dimensions. You don't have to figure it out like I did. All right, so now I have this laying here. I have the left side on the left, right, and that right side on the right. And I am going to put some adhesive, some more green glue on the back of this. I'm going to open up my Night of Navy. And now I'm just going to take this and put this over on the right side. And just kind of put it even. Okay. So it's going to go like this, and hopefully this should lay flat. Okay. So I probably should have gotten this over just a little bit. It's okay. So I'm going to close that up again. And I'm going to put some adhesive on this side. And then we'll close this up. Okay. Hello, Mom. So we're going to close that up. And hopefully we'll check it. Oops. Nope. All right. Did something wrong. I don't know. There we go. So you should open it up. Before your glue dries, go ahead and open it up. Make sure it lies flat. And then it closes. So there you go. That's your card base. All right. Now we can start putting it together. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the inside. So I have this piece of flowered, and it's going to go over here on this side. You can see that pretty paper. That's where no, it wasn't this one that I cut them out of, because these are a little bit different. All this paper is just so gorgeous. I just love it. I love it. All right. It's going to go on the right side. So pretty. And then this is going to go in the center. And I like to put it with the dark blue towards the bottom, but it's up to you. You can put it the other way too. I like to put the dark towards the bottom usually, just because the dark feels more grounded, you know. All right, and then this piece of basic white just goes over here on the left. Now, of course, if you want to stamp something on here, you can. That is up to you. But this just goes over here on the left side. So there's kind of that. Now I want to grab my basic white circle, and I'm going to grab the smaller one, right? So there's two of these. I'm going to start with the smaller one, and I want to use some Night of Navy ink. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment that says, wishing you all the happiness you can imagine. And I'm going to kind of stamp it towards the upper right. So just like that. Put my Night of Navy aside for a minute. And then this is going to get adhered to the center in here. Now, you want to make sure that you close it. So you wouldn't want to put this too far out, because then when you try to close your card, it would be sticking out. So you kind of want to, like, what I did is I kind of like tucked it in there and made sure, and then I opened it and looked and said, okay, it's got to be at least that much. So then, of course, you guys know I always do this. I set it on there how I want, and then I flip it down, and then I put my adhesive on the side. And then I know not to go over that line, right? That's how I kind of keep track. And this just goes right here. Just like that. And again, you can double check. Yep, still closes. Good, good, good. I'm going to take my big flower. Now you probably have different colored flowers. If you have the card kit, I had to cut all different colored flowers. So everybody has something a little bit different. And you might have different, your two flowers might be a little bit different too. You might not have the exact same flowers, because there's like 3 or 4 different flowers. So I'm just putting some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back here. And then this, I'm going to go ahead and put this down towards the bottom. And I'm going to grab this flower Oh no, I might have to cut this flower. I'm just going to cut a little bit off. There we go. Sometimes you just got to do a little surgery. I like to put it in underneath the other flower with the Stampin' Dimensionals. I just find it's easier to get things to line up. I could have glued that on first and then I wouldn't have had to cut it. All right, so we'll just put a little adhesive on here. And slide that in. There's that one. And I'm going to take my leaves and I want to put those right up there. So I'm just building everything out kind of from the center. And of course, want to make sure that I don't go over that fold because then my card won't close right. There we go. Then we're going to come in and pop this one down here someplace. Let's see, where do I want it? Oh, maybe right in there. That looks good, doesn't it? You can just kind of do whatever you want. It's a free-for-all. You make it look pretty. So that just slides in right there. There we go. And now I want to grab some of my glossy dots, those beautiful glossy dots. I think I'll use Pool Party ones, maybe. So if you have like a purple flower or a melon mambo flower, you could just use those color dots. That's what I did. So with this one, I used the purple to match the purple. But these are Night of Navy. So I am thinking I'm going to go with Pool Party. Again, you get to decide. And I'm going to use 3 different sizes just because I'm trying to more evenly use up my glossy dots. So let me see. There. Maybe over here. We'll pop this one kind of more there. There we go. So just trying to make a visual triangle with my glossy dots. Okay. So there's the inside. Now we get to do the outside of the card. How is everybody doing? Are you guys keeping up? I hope I am not going too fast. And I realize I think my phone is getting hot and I think it's giving me some kind of like stop motion stuff going down. So I'm going to use the other circle now, that larger circle. And I'm going to grab my Night of Navy ink again. And I'm going to start by stamping some flowers on here. So there's one. I'm going to stamp the other one maybe down here. All right. Put the Night of Navy ink away. And I'm going to grab my Granny Apple Green ink. And we're going to add some flowers, or not flowers, some leaves. So let's see. We'll just add a few leaves on here. Trying to decide where I want them. It's so hard to choose sometimes. I'm going to do one right there. There we go. So just a few leaves. I did still leave kind of some open space. It's just kind of visual resting. You're just watching on this one, Cindy? That's fine. I'm going to grab, I think, my light Pool Party. And I am just going to color in around the edges with the light Pool Party. This card is a little bit different on the coloring on this front. I kind of was having fun trying some things out. So we'll see if you like it. If you don't like it, you can just, color it normal. Whatever you want to do. But I just went around the edges with my light Pool Party. This is kind of be the darkest areas actually, even though it's the light marker. While I'm coloring, for those of you who ordered a paper share, the paper came in finally, and I have been working on getting it all cut. My goal is to have it out by Saturday. So I'll get that out in the mail to you. And you will notice, if you might have caught it on my Facebook, I don't know, maybe. But I have a new packaging system. So, all right, I'm coming in with my color lifter, and I'm just going to go over those areas, the edges of those areas, and kind of blend them out a little bit. So a new packaging system, I got some 6x6 plastic like bags, and each of the different papers is getting put in a different bag and getting labeled with the name of the stamp, the name of the paper, as well as the number for it, and the colors that are in that paper. So hopefully that is helpful to you. I was kind of planning on doing this, but I wasn't sure it was going to work, so I didn't want to tell you before I knew for sure it was going to work. So kind of a surprise, but it does work, and I'm really excited because I hope that it is going to be a lot, really helpful for you to have the list of all those colors and stuff, and have the number right there if you decide you want to reorder some of that paper. So, all right. Again, just coloring with my light Pool Party along the edges. And then I'm going to take my color lifter again and just go over just a little bit. Just kind of blend out those edges a little bit. It's not going to look like much at first, but as that color lifter dries, it does kind of blend that in a little bit. So, all right, now I want to grab my light Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to color the bottoms and the edges of my leaves again. So, and again, I'm leaving some white areas. And we'll go back over these with the color lifter as well. Just blend those out a little bit. This can make it just a little bit lighter too. So there we go. Hopefully you like that. Oh, you are very welcome, Kimberly. I just, I feel bad that it takes so long, but there's like no way to get it really any faster. I had to wait so long for the paper to come in, and that's why your card kits didn't ship quite as early either, is that I ordered the glossy dots for you at the same time, and I was waiting for those to show up too. So, all right, I'm gonna just take my embossing buddy. If you don't have an embossing buddy, you don't need it. There's now an embossing buddy in the embossing editions. I don't know what it's called. It's in the new mini catalog though. So I'm going to take my Best Wishes stamp in my Versamark ink. And again, I'm just stamping this on a scrap piece of Night of Navy. And then hopefully here somewhere, oh, here we go. Kind of a messy extra piece of scrap paper. And I'm going to take my white embossing powder and just give that a good dump right on there and hopefully get it up. Ugh. Embossing powder is a little bit messy. Yeah. All right. I'm going to give that some flicks. I think I want to sometimes I dump it on twice just because I find that I don't know, it doesn't always adhere real well. I am just grabbing a little tiny watercolor brush and just getting some of the strays off. We're going to cut this out too, so if it's not perfect, it's not really a big deal. but I just want to get some of the strays that I can get. And then, of course, we'll dump our powder back in here, back in the tub to use for next time. Whew. We're nearly done with this card. All right, I have my heat tool. It might get just a little bit noisy for a minute. I'm going to just heat this. I'm holding it back a little ways. Now that embossing additions kit also has the cross clamp tweezers in it. And this is what's nice about the cross clamp tweezers. You can use it to hold your pieces. Really good for those little pieces because I could hold it like that. I just held it down with the tip, but you can also just clamp it in there and hold it like that too. So those are really awesome. Definitely recommend it. I'm going to let that just cool down a little bit. While that's cooling down, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my other piece of the Hues of Happiness patterned paper. I'm sure right now I feel like I'm going way too fast. I'll just breathe a little bit. So I apologize. All right, this Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper is going on the left side of my card front, and I am leaving just a little bit of Night of Navy showing over on the side too. Then my pool party, my other circle here with my pool party flowers on it. This is going to get adhered to, and I'm just putting this on with green glue as well. I tried to keep the bulk on the front down a little bit because with that center inside, it is a little bit bulky in there. So I was trying not to get too bulky on the front. It's only a little bulky. All right. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to cut out my best wishes. Again, using my paper snips. You know, I feel like I get on a not a tangent. What do I want to say? Like I get on a kick with something. Like I don't cut out the sentiments like this for a long time, and then all of a sudden I'm like, this is what I want to do for all of my little sentiments. They're all going to get cut out. So I think tonight only 2 of the cards have the cutout sentiments. But what about you guys? Do you guys do that? Do you like do something all the time? Or like I'll have a color and I'll be like, every card I make is now going to be, you know, pool party, or every card I make is going to be coastal cabana. Just kind of go in a little streak of things. All right, so I cut that out. Now, if I have my mini dimensionals, we'll see if the mini dimensionals will fit. They might be too big. So I think they are too big. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to trim a piece off the side of the mini dimensionals. And I'm just going to use this. It'll probably give it a little bit better support anyway. All right, hopefully that doesn't show. Probably should have gone with the black ones on this one, but whatever. All right, so I have my little sentiment here, and this just going to go right on the front, kind of popping that up. Isn't that pretty? And then we're going to take some more of the glossy dots, and if I can find my take your pick tool, I'm going to use the big ones because they fit really well, and I don't like using them anyway. So this is a great use for those big glossy dots that I always find are too big for things. We're just going to put those right in the center of those flowers. Oops. Come here, you. That is not where you go. Come on. All right, so there's my glossy dots on the center of those flowers. And that is card number 2, our fun fold card. So hopefully you guys aren't completely lost. Let me know if you are lost or you need me to go back and re-explain something, which is kind of fun. I like the way that kind of gives you a pop-up effect when you stand it up on your mantle or something. So, All right, I'm gonna clean my stamps while you guys are finishing up. Let me know how you're doing. Thank you, Jerry-Ann. I'm so glad that you like it. Just giving all my stamps a good clean here on my really old chamois. You guys notice this is how I clean things. I don't know about you, but so I have one side that I just keep kind of really dirty and I wipe it off, and then I'll fold it over, and I find the tubble layer gives it a little bit more poof, and I just push it right down in there, and I find that that really helps get in the grooves of my stamps. You love this one fold, Kimberly? Oh, I'm so glad. It was kind of something different for me. I actually saw something online or something, and they had made the card, and it was like supposed to be like this, like it stood up like that, which is super cute. But I was like, well, what if it stood up like that? So like it was, that direction instead of being like this. So always fun to do new things. Try something out. I always find that, if you're stuck a little bit, turn things. You want to try something a little bit different, just take a card that's out there and give it a 90-degree turn. All right. Now we are moving on to card number 3. Let me go ahead and pull out what is in here. Hopefully it has all the pieces you need. Oh, all right, so you should have a piece of basic white. This is for the inside. You have a little square of basic white and a little square of melon mambo. And then you have a piece of daffodil delight, which has one of the edges cut. You have a piece of daffodil delight that has been embossed with the brick and mortar 3D embossing folder. You have a piece of the beautiful Hues of Happiness paper, which I just love that. I love this. It's got that look of the paintedness, and you can see the canvas. Like, I'm sure they painted this and then took pictures of it. All right, and then you have a piece of Daffodil Delight, and it opens at the top. Hello, Carol from Connecticut. Welcome. So glad you're joining us. All right, so I'm going to start this card I'm just going to go ahead and adhere my piece of Designer Series paper to that piece of Daffodil Delight that was embossed with the brick and mortar 3D embossing folder. And it's going to go all the way on the left side, just like that. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do a step. All right, if you haven't done that yet, don't do it. Oh, and I totally got that in something black, because I actually meant to grab a blending brush. You can use a blending brush or a sponge. I'm just going to use my Daffodil Delight ink pad, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to this. So I'm just putting some ink on my blending brush, and I'm very lightly just going over the brick a little bit, because I don't want to get a solid color. I kind of just want it to adhere to the bricks, to like the tops of the bricks, just to give it a little bit of texture to it. Now you could just take your ink pad, you could just swipe your ink pad on there too. But I'm just doing it this way this time. And this is just bringing out, you can kind of see, oh, can you see that? I don't know. Hopefully you can see that. It kind of like the bricks that stick out more, they are now like just a little bit darker, and they're going to pop out even more. So it's just a fun way to add a little extra something. I'm going to hold this up just a little bit, see if you can see that. You see how those ones, like those are just the ones that pop out more because of the embossing folder. So those are the ones that pick up more of the ink when you're just lightly brushing it. So this kind of, helps you see that design a little bit more. All right, this brick and mortar, I'm just going to adhere it right to the front of my card. Now, why am I just adhering a piece of Daffodil Delight to another piece of Daffodil Delight? What I find is that when you use an embossing folder on a piece of cardstock, it doesn't have as much of, it's not as sturdy anymore, okay? So I don't like to just emboss my card front, because I find that then the front of my card, like if I tried to put this up, it would like totally bend. Just because once it's been embossed, it kind of is less sturdy. So that's why I put it on as a separate piece. All right. Now, actually, let's start with our piece of basic white. So I have my piece of basic white. I'm going to grab some different flowers. So I have this flower right here, and then I have the flower with the little bit of stem on it. I'm going to use my Memento ink. Trying to stay in the camera as much as I can, but I'm pretty far down here tonight. So, all right. I'm going to stamp one of these flowers right there. And again, just like every other card tonight, I'm going to leave a little bit of kind of empty space. I just found with these flowers, I like to have a little bit of, a little spot where your eye just kind of rests. So there's some flowers, and then I'm going to come in and just add a few leaves. Now, if you overlap a little bit, that's okay. It's not going to make much of a difference. Trying to figure out which way I want to put this. There we go. All right. And I think I'm going to put one. No, I don't want to put one up there. I changed my mind. We're not going to do that. All right. So there, I just stamped those. And these, I'm going to color with Melon Mambo. So I got my Melon Mambo Stampin' Blends. This is a Stampin' Blend evening tonight. And I'm going to color the edges with the dark again. My Melon Mambo blends are nice and juicy. They are pretty new. Oh, just coloring kind of under all those edges, the bottoms, giving this just a little bit of definition to it. And we'll come in here and add the centers. I don't know. I just color a little bit. I just add color. All right. So I just added some dark on that. Then we'll come in with the light. I'm just going to kind of color over this whole thing. I hope you guys like coloring. Tonight was definitely a coloring night. So I'm excited though for the the August bundle class is the best butterflies class, and that is going to be super fun. No coloring. Well, I don't think I haven't made the cards yet. I have to make those probably tomorrow. And then the card class in August is going to be Simply Fabulous, which you guys know I love the Simply Fabulous stamp set. So I'm excited to use that some more too. And that's not going to have coloring either. So we're going to have a couple of no coloring things. So sometime probably in the next couple weeks, I'm going to have Christmas card information. So you guys, if you have been watching me for a while now, at least a year, the last couple of years, every year I do a big Christmas card making event with my mom. And we're going to get together next week. We're going to discuss the details, figure that out for this year. But basically, usually what it is that you pick a stamp set from a list, and then you get to make, I come up with 2 different designs for that stamp, and I cut and prepare for you everything you need to make 10 of each of those designs. So basically you end up making 20 Christmas cards. Kind of like, it's like a Christmas Jumpstart. So we're gonna figure that out this weekend, and so hopefully, or next week. So hopefully in the next couple weeks, you're gonna see some more information to start getting registered for our big Christmas card making event, which is a huge thing every year. So it's hard to believe it's like July and we're talking about Christmas. But I feel a little bit more ready for it than I was a couple weeks ago when the new mini first came out and it was all Christmas, like, because I first saw it like the beginning of June, right? And I was like, no, it is way, way, way too early. Cannot talk about that. The other thing that's going to be coming up in September, even before the Christmas card event, well, I think before the Christmas card event, is our next Stampin' Cross Country event. We're going to have to get planning that too. That's going to be coming up towards the end of September. And if you're just joining me now, if you haven't been around since the last one, it's been a few months since we did our last one. This is a big online event that I do with 3 other demonstrators. All right, I'm going to take a breath here. I'm going to tell you that I am switching to Granny Apple Green. So this is a big event that I do with 3 other demonstrators. And we basically all day on a Saturday, actually we start Friday night and then all day on a Saturday, we do demonstrations online. And, you know, just share a ton of new ideas with you, tons of tutorials, just tons and tons of great information. So our next one is going to come up in September, and I'm excited. We got to start planning for that. We haven't even started. We haven't talked in a while. We've all been busy. So, but that's going to come up. So I'm going to guess probably in the next few weeks, you're going to start seeing information about that too. All right. So there I colored. Yay, Cindy. I'm so glad that you like the Stampin' Cross Country. All right. So now I have colored my flowers. If you have a Winkostella, I don't think this is on the list, but if you have a Winkostella, yeah, I like just to put a little Winkostella in here. Just to, I don't know, just to make it like sparkle. I love Winkostella. It's like my favorite thing ever because I really like glitter, but I don't like the mess of it. So Winkostella has all the glitter and none of the mess. It's the best thing ever. So I'm just going to add a little bit of Winkostella to the edges, some of the edges of my flowers. I'm not doing the whole thing. That would be too much. I just want to give it kind of a hint of glitter. So, and I'm sure that you cannot see that glitter on there. Oh, I'm so glad that you enjoy the retreats, Kimberly. That's so good to hear. So I don't know that you can see that glitter, but I did just kind of put some glitter on there. Little Winkostella, because I love Winkostella. All right, I'm going to grab my piece of Daffodil Delight. And eventually this is going to go right here. I'm just putting this on here to kind of see where it's going to be, which is right in here, because I want to add, I'm going to grab my Granny Apple Green ink pad, and I want to add some leaves on here. And I want to put leaves up here in this corner and then down here. All right. So I'm going to grab this leaf that has like 5, it's kind of a branch thing. And we'll add some over here. And there. All right. We'll see how I did. It's always kind of a, not bad. All right. So that's just kind of giving some sprigs going off the sides there. And the other thing we are going to stamp, I'm going to grab my Memento ink. You guys, my hands are covered with ink today. I'm going to grab my Memento ink, and I want to use the stamp that says Happy Birthday. You, of course, could use anything. There's a congratulations. That's one of the reasons I really love this stamp set, is it has so many different sentiments in it. So it works for so many different occasions. So I'm just going to ink up my Happy Birthday. And I'm going to add that towards the bottom here, just like that. And this is going to get adhesive. Here's my little piece of melon mambo. It was hiding. It was getting lost. If you guys could see, if you could see the mess going on my desk over here, whoo-wee. So I'm going to take my green glue. That should be a thing after we get done with card class. Everybody takes a photo of their workspace. We'll see who's created the most chaos. All right, so this is going to go on this little tiny piece of melon mambo. Just like that. Oh, I wish you could see the sparkles. They're so pretty. All right, I want to take my piece here, and I'm just going to kind of flick the edges a little bit, just so it looks like I tore it out of a piece, like a three ring, like a not 3-ring binder, but like a notebook, right? All right, and then this, we're going to adhere this with some Stampin' Dimensionals, my favorite. All right, putting some in each corner. And I'll stick one in the middle too. We will pop those backs off. And one more. And then this goes on kind of the top of my piece of Daffodil Delight. So pretty. And now I'm going to put some dimensionals on here too, because dimensionals on everything. Oops. This one's losing its back already. This is going to pretty much use up my sheet of dimensionals. This is good. I love using up stuff. Does anybody else have that? It's like using up a pen. I love using up dimensionals. All right, look, my sheet's empty. Like I get a gold star for today because I emptied my sheet of dimensionals. All right, I'm gonna pop those backs off. Now there are gonna be photos of all of these cards over on my website. I have not quite written the blog post yet, but that'll be up by probably tomorrow morning. So you can go and look at them. Now I'm gonna put this on a little bit crooked. So just like that. And then of course we're gonna jazz it up. Let's grab some Melon Mambo glossy dots. And I'm gonna grab a great big one and kind of shove it underneath here. Go, go, go. Poof. Go. And then let's grab a medium one. And I'll put that over here. And I'll grab a tiny one. I love the tiny ones. I wish there were like twice as many tiny ones as all the others. Put that down there. And then I want to add a couple more. We're going to do 5. I always do odd numbers, but sometimes I like to go crazy and do 5 instead of 3. There's a tiny one and a medium one. And just put those up there. So there we go. It is sparkly and shiny. This one is your favorite, Vicki. Oh, I'm so glad. All right, and then you have a piece of basic white. You, of course, can stamp this with whatever you want. Maybe you, here, I'm going to stamp the wishing you all the happiness you can imagine on here, because that seems like a good inside sentiment for this. So I'm just going to ink this up with my memento. And of course, you can add flowers too. I'm not going to add flowers. I'm going to be lazy. And then we'll just adhere this to the inside of the card. That's probably a little bit too much green glue. That's what happens when you get out a new one. So then this just goes right in here. And there is our third and last card. So there you go. Now, if for some reason you did not register for this class and you want to have the tutorials, you can get those starting tomorrow, at least. You'll be able to get those over on my website too, in my tutorial store. All of my past classes, the tutorials are over there for you guys to purchase. So it's always a better deal to actually register for the class and get the card kit. But if for some reason you missed registration, that's a great way to get those tutorials too. All right, so there are our 3 cards for tonight. Let me see if I can find them all in the chaos that's over here. I want to thank you all again for joining me tonight. I hope that you have enjoyed using this stamp set, and I hope that I will see you again at the August card class. Oh, yay, I'm so glad you guys like them. That is great to hear. And of course, I'm going to be live on Thursday. A little sneak peek. I'm going to be using the Stronger Together. Let me hold this down here. The Stronger Together stamp set, which I love. I was so excited to get this. So I'm using that Thursday. I will be live here on YouTube and on my Facebook page at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday night. So thank you again for joining me tonight, and I will see y'all on Thursday, and then again next week Tuesday night, for our fabulous Fun Folds. That's always fun. All right, talk to y'all later.